A dog nursing lion cubs sounds impossible, but in 2004 it happened at a wildlife sanctuary in California, and what unfolded over the next 18 months would challenge everything we know about maternal bonds and survival instincts. Most people believe animals stick to their own kind, that a dog would never accept a predator's offspring, that nature has hardwired boundaries no amount of human intervention can cross. For decades, biologists insisted cross-species nurturing was temporary at best, dangerous at worst. But what if everything we've been told about the animal kingdom's rigid hierarchy is wrong? The 3 lion cubs were dying. Their mother had rejected them within hours of birth, a death sentence in the wild. The sanctuary staff had maybe 48 hours before dehydration would claim all 3. They'd tried bottles, incubators, round-the-clock feeding schedules. Nothing worked. The cubs were fading, their cries growing weaker by the hour. Then someone remembered Bella. Bella was a golden retriever who just lost her own litter to complications. She was still producing milk, still searching her kennel for puppies that would never return. The sanctuary's founder stood in the doorway of Bella's enclosure, holding a dying lion cub, knowing this was either brilliant or catastrophic. Dogs have killed for less. A grieving mother confronted with the scent of a predator might attack on instinct alone. He placed the first cub near Bella's belly. She sniffed once, twice. Then something remarkable happened. Bella's tail wagged. She licked the cub's face, pulled it close with her paw, and began to nurse. Within minutes, all 3 cubs were feeding, their tiny roars replaced by the sound of contentment. The staff stood frozen, witnessing something that shouldn't exist outside of fairy tales. The first week was chaos. Bella treated the cubs exactly like puppies, which meant discipline. When they bit too hard during feeding, she'd pin them with her mouth. When they wandered too far from the den, she'd carry them back by the scruff. The cubs, barely 3 pounds each, had no concept they were being raised by their natural prey. To them, Bella was simply mom. But here's where it gets interesting. As the cubs grew stronger, their instincts began to surface. By week 3, they weren't just nursing. They were stalking Bella's tail, pouncing on her ears, practicing the killing bites their DNA demanded. Any other dog would have rejected them. Bella played along, somehow understanding that these games were lessons, not threats. The sanctuary staff expected the relationship to collapse by month 2. Lion cubs grow fast, gaining nearly a pound every 4 days. Their baby teeth sharpen into weapons. Their playful swipes start drawing blood. Every expert consulted said the same thing. Separate them now, before instinct overrides the bond, before Bella gets hurt, before the cubs see her as food instead of family. They didn't separate them. Month 3 brought the first real test. The largest cub, a male the staff named Roman, pinned Bella during play. His jaws closed around her neck, not hard enough to break skin, but firm enough to send a message. The room went silent. This was the moment everyone had predicted, the moment nature would reassert itself and the experiment would end in tragedy. Bella didn't panic. She went completely still, then released a low growl that came from somewhere ancient in her own predator ancestry. Roman released immediately, dropping into a submissive crouch. He'd understood. The hierarchy remained intact, but it was a close call. Too close. What happened next changed everything. Bella didn't reject Roman. Instead, she intensified his training. When he played too rough, she'd refuse to engage until he gentled his approach. When he ignored her warnings, she'd physically remove herself from the space. She was teaching him control, impulse management, restraint, skills that would keep him alive when he eventually joined the sanctuary's adult lion population. By month 6, the cubs weighed 40 pounds each. Bella couldn't carry them anymore. She could barely keep them corralled during outdoor time. But something unexpected had happened. The cubs had learned to moderate their strength around Bella. They'd wrestle each other with full force, tumbling and roaring and testing their growing power. Then they'd approach Bella with careful, measured movements, as if they understood she was fragile in ways they were not. The conventional wisdom says animals don't possess that kind of awareness, that they can't consciously adjust their behavior based on another species' limitations. Yet here were 3 lion cubs, hardwired to kill, choosing gentleness because Bella had taught them love first. Month 12 brought separation anxiety. The cubs were being gradually introduced to the adult lions, spending hours a day away from Bella. The female cubs adapted quickly, but Roman struggled. He'd pace the fence line between enclosures, calling for Bella with sounds that were neither roar nor bark. Bella would answer, sitting vigil on her side of the barrier, waiting for his return. The final separation happened at 18 months. The cubs were nearly full-grown, powerful enough to accidentally injure Bella even in play. The sanctuary had no choice. For everyone's safety, the relationship had to end. They moved Bella to a different section of the facility, somewhere she couldn't see or hear the lions she'd raised. She stopped eating for 3 days. The cubs became aggressive with handlers, refusing enrichment activities, showing signs of severe stress. The sanctuary's founder made a decision that broke every protocol in the manual. He allowed supervised visits. Once a week, Bella and the 3 lions would share space under careful observation. You'd expect chaos. Instead, the lions would approach Bella like oversized puppies, lowering themselves to her level, grooming her with the same care she'd once shown them. Roman, now 400 pounds of apex predator, would rest his massive head in her lap while she licked his ears clean. The female cubs would form a protective circle around her, as if acknowledging the debt they owed. Those visits continue today. Bella is 12 now, gray-faced and slower. The lions are in their prime, but every week they remember. They choose gentleness. They honor the bond that biology said couldn't exist. Maybe we've been wrong about nature's boundaries. Maybe love is the stronger instinct after all. If this story changed how you see the animal kingdom, hit that like button and subscribe for more stories that challenge what we think we know about the wild.